Hey there, everybody. This is Withered Berry. I've decided to show you something I've been working on for quite a while now. I have created Star Butterfly in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, specifically Dungeons & Dragons Adventures League. I've used the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything, as well as a lot of stylization and flavor to make her as faithful to the source material as I can. Of course, through her adventures through Faerun, the world of the Forgotten Realms, for 5th edition D&D, she has some interesting changes. For example, her wild magic increased her age. She's now 21 years old. And, quite a few other things. She's got some items that are a bit different, and, let's get right into it. So, the basic attributes of Star: she's a variant human, in this case, a Mumin. And I made her before the big reveal that humans are, variant humans. So it seems quite appropriate. She got the lucky feat from that. And her ability score spread is as follows. She's low strength. She's a young girl. High dexterity, always ready to jump into action. Decent constitution. She can take a hit. Average intelligence, a bit below average wisdom. She's a young girl. And, of course, extremely high charisma. Always fun to be around, and using charisma to cast her crazy spells. She's a wild magic sorcerer. 17 levels in that. I've been playing her for quite a while. She's level 20 now. She's also a warlock, Pact of the Fiend. Fiend patron, Pact of the Chain, excuse me. 3 levels in that, and we'll get into that a bit more in a little bit. But let's just jump right into it from there. Before we get started, she's got quite a few magic items. She's got the Royal Magical Wand, which is the Wand of Wonder, a wand that can do random things. A wand upgrade, in this case a +3 Rod of the Pack Keeper. Increases the DC and attack rolls of her warlock spells. Robes of the Archmagi, which, using one of her other abilities, she can change to look however she wants them to. Dairn's Instant Fortress. We'll get into that more later. The Mr. and Mrs. Wubsy Sending Stones. Always fun for roleplay. I got these from a Adventures League mod called Best Friends Forever. Highly recommend it. Tons of fun. They've got a ton of flavor. They're built into these little Sphinx stuffed animals. Got an Insignia of Claws that Glossaric carries around. Goggles of Night for her to see in the dark, and a few stat boosting items. She also has the feats of Inspiring Leader. She can give a bunch of temporary hit points to her allies. She's alert, always ready to jump into action. And she's lucky. She can reroll her dice and try to get a better result when things don't go her way. That's kind of a feature of her build. She can bend other people's luck and reroll her own dice and give herself advantage over and over with Tides of Chaos. She's quite rambunctious on the battlefield. She sets the flow of battle. She's also a princess background, which is just a custom background with the position of privilege feature, being a princess and all, And if you'd like to know more about how the sorcerer and warlock work, I highly recommend looking into D&D Beyond to read about the classes. The wild magic sorcerer and fiend warlock, those would be in the player's handbook as well. But let's get into the meat of what makes Star Butterfly work in 5th edition. So, first off, she has a very high initiative. She uses Tides of Chaos to roll initiative at advantage at all times possible. She gets a +5 from her alert feat, and she has a 4 modifier in dexterity. So, we regularly get rolls like this: 21, 23, 25. So she sets the flow of battle pretty early on. And usually the first thing she does in battle is, of course, mess everything up. And she does that by first using her Wand of Wonder to create a random effect wherever she points it. In this case, she made a cloud of stinking gas that she just exploded on her enemies. And then she will use her Quicken metamagic feature to cast a regular spell. It could be anything. It could be a Rolling Thunder Lightning Blast, as we'll see later. But then she will often use her Tides of Chaos to roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, which many DMs will allow me to do every time because it is a blast. This is the GIF I chose for that. I thought it was very appropriate. For example, these random things will happen. She will cast Levitate on herself and start floating away. Or she will maximize the damage of the next spell she casts, which she is very much a striker. And that can mean a lot of damage for her. Some of the features she has Controlled Chaos, so she can control what happens with her Wild Magic Surges a bit more. She's got the Dark One's Blessing. In this case, she is a warlock whose patron is her ever illustrious ex-boyfriend, Tom Lucitor. And using the Dark One's Blessing, she can get temporary hit points as she defeats enemies on the battlefield. I already showed you the Inspiring Leader and the Lucky. She has the Darren's Instant Fortress, which in this case is the flavor for her Sparkle Glitter Bomb Expand. And I have had a variety of shenanigans with that, including the Worm God Caius tossing it aside like a rag doll and throwing it across the map with me still inside. That was fun. She has the metamagics for a Careful spell. I was blowing up my allies a lot, so I just thought it might be a good idea to pick that up. And, she's gotten better at her magic over time, right? She doesn't blow everything up anymore, right? She can empower her spell to deal more damage. She can heighten her spell to make her enemies have more trouble resisting it. And her most used metamagic is her Quicken spell, which allows her to cast her spell more quickly and then do something else with her turn, like use her Wand of Wonder. She can bend her allies' luck to increase their odds or lower the enemy's odds. And now let's get into some of the spells. So, being a multi-class, she has quite a few cantrips. And I have to admit, these were the hardest to come up with. And in the end, for a few things, I had to create my own ideas, different names for them. Spells that she would use in the show but that didn't have a name, or she was just getting so many cantrips I just didn't even know what to do anymore. So I tried to be as flavorful as possible. Some of these are actual spell names, some of them are not, but they all come from the show, so I feel like they work. So let's start off with the Bright Heart Glow Wand. This one's a custom one. And the name is custom. Of course, she actually did light up her spell in I believe the Monster Bash episode. Light up her wand, excuse me. She has Illusion Confusion, which I used the scene where she transforms Marco's head into a butterfly that is partially on fire. That is her minor illusion cantrip. The Bright Heart Glow Wand being light, of course. The Lazy Grab Hand. When she's talking to Tom, she tries to reach her chips. That is her Mage Hand. Her Magical Princess Magic. I use the iconic scene, "I'm a magical princess from another dimension," for this spell. It's just a minor magical trick she can do. Monster Mashing Dancing Lights. This is the Dancing Lights spell. I took this from the intro. Thought it was pretty appropriate. Shape, ship, shape. Now this is this is when I was getting pretty starved for ideas. This was the last cantrip she learned. I just took this shot of her building a ship in a bottle and used it as her mending cantrip. Of course, being a warlock, she's got the ever-powerful Eldritch Blast cantrip, which I made into the Dark Magic Blast. Just a scene of her shooting some purple magic. This represents her tapping into dark magic later in the series. And her other warlock spell is the Sunshine Friendship spell, which in the game it's a little bit less dramatic than the GIF is, but I think it works pretty well. There's a few spells you'll see here on the list that come from the Wild Magic and Wand of Wonder tables. Those are just backups in case for some reason my macros aren't working. These are just some of the spells she can cast accidentally. But as for spells she knows how to cast, she's got the Narwhal Blast, which is her ice knife. In this case, the ice knife is the pointy horns of the narwhal hitting into the enemy for the piercing damage, and just water and hearts and all kinds of magic-y goodness for the cold damage. And I later on came up with an upgrade to this. When she casts this spell at a higher level, she chooses a different underwater creature. Let's say she usually casts it at about 5th level. Deals a lot more damage because she's firing her whale at the enemy, her rainbow whale blast that she showed off in her Muberty form near the end of the series. Here's another one that I had a custom name for. This is her shield spell, the Yellowberry Bubble Barrier. Say that 5 times fast. And this was the shield she used against Meteora. She's got some Warlock invocations that give her the ability to use some spells at will. In this case, her Infrared Wand Dowsing, her Detect Magic, that she used in the camping episode. Radiant Shadow Transform, which she used in the Saint Olga episodes. This is Disguise Self, which she can use at will from the Mask of Many Faces Eldritch Invocation. And being Packed to the Chain, she can summon a imp as her familiar, in this case, Glossaric of Terms. And just so you can see that, I do have a token for him. Ta-da! There's Glossaric. And he can do a variety of things. The only real thing I have flavored for him is his Scolding Poke, which is the Imp's Stinger. And in battle, Glossaric just usually tends to make snide remarks and occasionally give people potions of pudding, aka potions of healing. Another custom spell, the Hellish Rebuke from the Warlock, I have made into Blue Pyre Payback. I feel like that is definitely a spell name she would create. And, of course, a Warlock wouldn't be complete without the Hex spell. In this case, the little depressing rain cloud she creates over Marco in the first episode signifies her Hex, the Sunshine Rain Cloud Hex. Moving on to second level spells. Bright Glow Pyro, a one-off spell. I believe she only used it once in the show, but it was actually harder than you'd think to find fire spells for her. For her Misty Step, one of my favorites to use and usually gets a lot of laughs, she has the Fantastic Exit Beam. Moving on to third level spells, she has the Jelly Bean Hallucination Mist, a variation on Hypnotic Pattern. She has Lightning Twinkle Rescue. I believe that was used to stop the lamp from attacking Marco in the Sleep Spells episode, countering a spell. Mending Heart Hurricane, which she used to dispel the magic on the animal she created. Rolling Thunder Lightning Blast for her Lightning Bolt spell. And then for her ability to fly with her Muberty form, I got a little bit creative with this one. So for herself, she goes into her Muberty form whenever she wants to fly. But you can cast this spell on your allies too. And occasionally I'll just have her fly around on a Cloudy. So that's what she uses to give her allies the ability to fly. She summons Cloudy. Her fireball is the Turbo-Nuclear Butterfly Blast. And her Tidal Wave spell. She has two versions of it. She has the Warnicorns version of it. If the DM is allowing me to be especially stylish. Or if they want it to still be a, actual wave of water. The alternate version. The Mega Starfish Tsunami. Her only 4th level spell is something a bit special. She uses Polymorph to activate her Rainbow Kaiju Battle Armor. These use the statistics of the giant ape. I don't roleplay her talking very much, considering that spell lowers her intelligence quite a bit. But I do have a token for it. There's her Rainbow Kaiju Battle Armor. And Glossric will put the Insignia of Claws on her battle armor in order to have it deal magical damage and be a bit more effective. Moving on. We have her 5th level spell, Winterstorm Hyperblow, the Cone of Cold. Her 6th level spell, the Climactic, and named by me, of course, Mega Atomizing Muberty Blast, when she disintegrated Toffee. Some people told me that should be Sunbeam, but considering she's literally disintegrating him, I think I made the right choice. Then we've got the Rainbow Avalanche. This is what her Rainbow Blast eventually upgraded into. It started out as Color Spray, and eventually she swapped it for Prismatic Spray, a 7th level spell. No 8th level spells, but she's got 2 9th level slots from Adventures League Epic Reward. She normally only gets 2 9th level spells, but she has a couple spell scrolls. She has the ability to make a magical portal, just like in the show, using the Gate spell. And this one's a bit unique because I don't think I'll ever use it. But she can, in dire consequences, cast the Whispering spell. Now, the way I flavored this is the Wish spell. And if she was to ever use this, she would get rid of her Wand of Wonder, and the effect of the Wish spell would be basically an anti-magic zone. She would break the bond, tear the fabric, cleave the stone, and stop the magic for the rest of the module. But hopefully I'll never have to do that. She's already beaten the avatar or aspect, whichever it was, of Caius, an evil worm god. So hopefully she's not going to go through anything so traumatic she ever has to do this. As for the 9th level spells, she can cast all the time. And this one's got a bit of an Easter egg in there. If you can figure out what the Easter egg for this GIF is, please comment below. I'm sure nobody knows where the second part of that GIF came from. And of course, this is the Cataclysmic Total Extinction Death Blast, which she never actually made impact with. It's a variation on Meteor Swarm. And Easy Peasy Time Freezy for the Time Stop spell. So yeah, those are all of the spells of Star Butterfly. That's really about it. I hope you enjoyed this. I'd be happy to explain anything else that's part of her kit or any other aspects of her flavor. And I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.